Welcome in the latest episode of the Betting Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Real Corey G. Warner. It is a busy week on the Betting Pitch channel, Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Of course, on YouTube at the Real Corey G. Warner, and on Instagram, where we put all the reels from the Need for Seeds College Basketball, getting you ready for the NCAA tournament. We've already done 2 episodes, Big East Ben and I, the East bracket, the South bracket. So we got the whole left side of the brackets done. We'll be going through the last 2 on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, getting you ready to put your brackets in on Thursday, try to make some money there. Champions League's been really good to me in the Betting the Pitch podcast on this side, so let's try to keep that momentum alive. Didn't make as many plays as I wish I had in the first legs of the round of 16 knockouts, but we're going to go through the second leg, what's left to be discussed. Some of these matches and ties are already decided, but we'll go quickly through those, and then we'll get a best bet end of show, so make sure you stick around for that. Let's start in the early matchup. Sporting Lisboa, one of these matches that seems to be fairly decided. Very disappointed I didn't grab Bodo Glimt as a pick'em early enough. Moved to a quarter goal, so I couldn't release it to everybody. But unfortunately, those sort of things do happen from time to time. Let me get, I guess, my bearings a little bit before I get started with this one. But that is the early matchup, 12:45 Central Time, 1:45 Eastern, as we still haven't had daylight savings hit in Europe just yet, which is good for me. But and here in the United States, get a little bit more time to digest, though it's thrown off schedule a little bit. So I had made Bodo Glimt a 3/4 goal underdog before the result of the first leg. Bodo Glimt are up 3-0 from their victory by that same score in Norway. Now they go to Lisbon to face Sporting Lisboa, who are a little bit favored to a slight favorite to win. We'll go through to advanced numbers and things like that as well. But Bodo Glimt, I mean, are great at home. We saw Inter, who are far better than Sporting Lisboa, yet Inter couldn't survive in amazing fashion, but they still couldn't. And now to me, Bodo Glimt was disrespected yet again, not getting enough respect, maybe is a better way to put that. But ultimately, here they are in a big, big advantage, this time 3-0 instead of 3-1. And it looks very, very grim for Sporting Lisboa to get out of this matchup. Well, they're a 1.25 goal favorite now, which does reflect kind of what the situation is, how many goals they need to score, how many they need to win by. In case you're wondering, they did away with the away goals rule, which Sporting Lisboa scored 0. But it used to be that a away goal counted as more than 1 goal, basically, and would be the tiebreaker. Well, Sporting Lisboa, they can win 4-1, 5-2, any sort of thing. If they win by 3 goals, we'll see extra time. I'm not sure we will, because I think it's a long way to go. And Bodo Glimt showed a very, very, I mean, counterattacking, successful type of style on the road to Inter with a big lead. And honestly, I'm fairly interested in Bodo Glimt. The problem for me at 1.25 goal underdogs is that if they lose by 2 goals, they're celebrating at the final whistle, and I want them to keep fighting through that type of situation. It's a lower probability event, yes, but to me at this point, that's the only way I could lean. I don't bet favorites. Longtime Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/RealCoreyGWarner for all my plays across all sports. They're really hot last week and try to keep that alive coming this week into the NCAA tournament, and of course, through Champions League and Europa League, and of course, the soccer that's coming back this weekend before we get into the international break, which will also be, I think, a very good money-making opportunity as we get ready for the World Cup. But I just think at this point, Joe Dollar, a longtime Patreon subscriber, knows I don't play underdogs. Or excuse me, he knows I play underdogs. He knows I don't play favorites. And yes, there's some argument here for Sporting Lisboa to win a lopsided match and potentially send us to extra time or win in regulation. I just think we've seen enough of Bodo Glimt not to believe that. So I'll put Bodo Glimt on my card for right now as a lean at +1.25. It's what I made it after adjusting lines, after seeing the score line and watching that first leg. I don't know that I'm going to really get involved there, but that's certainly the way I lean right now. And I feel like I'm going to watch this Bodo Glimt will cover. I'm going to kick myself afterwards, but that is a little bit part of this game. So we'll see ultimately where that ends up going. Late night with the Real Corey Warner. Welcome to the Yawns. Okay, so yeah, Bodo Glimt closed +149 as an underdog. That's a really, really nice price, I gotta say. They'd gotten bet down from 195, nearly 2-1 odds, down to +149, which is a pretty big difference. Let's see, it's a drop of. This is definitely not right. How did that happen? Here we go. It was a drop of a large percentage, 31% nearly, is where it came down from the opener. So that's significant. I think Certainly, there's, I guess, a belief maybe in uh okay, my number. I don't know what's going on here, but whatever I just did messed up. But I think the numbers are right. 38% was a decrease on Sporting Lisboa. So clearly the market was against Sporting Lisboa on Lisbon's side, but um now Buda Glimt are minus 605 to advance. So that's a big change. Plus 449 coming back on Sporting Lisboa. And I will not be playing that because I think they will be eliminated. And we'll see Buda Glimt. Amazing. Surprise, surprise. We'll see them somehow in the quarterfinals. To the big slate of matches, we'll start with Arsenal, 1.5 goal favorites right now with all the juice at home to Bayer Leverkusen. Um, the We'll get into the first leg, what all happened. Total in this one is 3, juiced pretty heavily to under at the moment. Two advanced numbers, Arsenal minus 800. So they're in pretty good shape to get through. Um, to a plus 561 on Bayer Leverkusen. So Bayer Leverkusen scored a goal on Arsenal on a corner kick, which is pretty much Arsenal's move. And they're like, whoa, what the hell? How'd you do that? Well, I wish more will do that because I'm very sick of all this at this point with Arsenal basically winning every match from set pieces, not really creating much. Yes, they are really talented, are extremely strong, and their opponents sit back and defend because they just don't want them to score. In a normal way, they want to try to force them into lower expected goal events, which is a great plan and is what you should be doing. But Arsenal have been really fortunate this year. I feel like when they win, however many trophies they take this year, which could be all of them, could be the treble, could be quadruple, excuse me. They could be a billion of these, but for me, I just don't really believe it. They're not that good. The defense is great. They do deserve a lot of credit for not conceding shots because that's a big deal. But they were outplayed by Bayer Leverkusen on the road. Leverkusen, I mean, unfortunately, U.S. international Malik Tillman did a really silly maneuver to try to slide to prevent what looked like to me and not a really big expected goal chance. But ultimately, Eberechi Eze kicked his foot. He was in front of him. He had beaten him to the spot, basically. Did get the ball, but when you're kicked by an offensive player, it is not a penalty. It is not a foul. It is nothing like that. It's actually a foul on the offensive player. And the fact that the Turkish VAR didn't overturn it or have him look at it was absolutely ridiculous. But unfortunately, there are really bad officiating mistakes, even with VAR. I don't want to get too deep into that because you probably hear this every episode, but that was absolutely brutal and completely changed this game because Leverkusen go to Arsenal 1-0 up. They have a really good chance to advance. They clearly are plus 561, so 100 wins you $561 to advance now. Giant underdogs. Minus 800 is Arsenal, 1 to 8 or 8 to 1 on. So that's giving about 11% chance based on that price. Yes, there's some handle in there, but not a lot of expectations for Bayer Leverkusen, who have been awesome this year considering how many players they lost, sacking a manager 2 matches into the season, all those sort of things. And I am tempted to want to play Leverkusen, but I have major concerns that they go to Arsenal and just fall flat in their face after basically feeling like they got punched in the gut, stomach, nuts, whatever you think about, kicked, whatever. They deserved a 1-0 win and got screwed. And maybe they use that as a rallying cry, but I just don't know that really works going on the road to London and the toughest place to play in all of Europe at this point, toughest soccer stadium in the world, I think, right now. And yes, Leverkusen are 1.5 goal underdogs with a ton of juice on Arsenal. Maze climbs to 1 3/4. You get half of a push if Leverkusen lose by 2. I think for me, the total is exactly what I made it 3. I'm more interested there just because I think we see another low scoring game. It's not really Leverkusen's want or what they desire to do, but I think they know if they open up, they could get blasted early by Arsenal and have no chance. So I think they play really conservatively as long as they can to stay in this match. And I don't trust Arsenal to score 3 goals themselves. I probably feel like Arsenal has a decent chance of keeping a clean sheet, but I think we see a low scoring game there. So under 3 looks very interesting to me. No real play on the 2 advanced number. We'll move next to Chelsea and PSG. Speaking of incredible collapses at the end, I mean, from 1-0 down to tying it, equalizing 1-1, 2-1 down to equalizing 2-2, even falling behind 3-2. The big mistakes by Philip Jorgensen, just managers choosing the wrong goalkeepers to play in Champions League is hilarious, and we'll get to more of that later on in this episode. some of them clearly even more brain dead than was even possible. I'll go on a rant on that one. Get ready for that. But at this point, unfortunately, this was a really close tie, and now it's basically dead, and it kind of screws us out of a really cool match day experience. I think really, but Chelsea they lost the first leg from 2-2 to they lost 5-2, so they're basically dead. To advanced number plus 920 on Chelsea right now. So like no one's giving them any sort of chance. Yeah, they're down 3 goals. Yes, they're at home, but good luck overturning that. LOL. Um, and that was from PSG closing minus 121 down about let's see 11% from where they once were. Just because the market doesn't believe in PSG. I don't believe in PSG. They've had a really bad year, especially considering how great they were just one season ago, winning everything they absolutely could. But sheesh, they really took advantage of Chelsea goalkeeper mistakes, which is important, but amazing. And at this point, to me, I feel like we were screwed at a lot of good Champions League matches because of really idiotic managers, and that's what happens when you sack a really successful one like Enzo Maresca, bring in an absolute rookie just because. I mean, they had no idea they were playing PSG, but he had been at Strasbourg before. Maybe he knew what he was doing, but Robert Sanchez is not a good goalkeeper, but neither is Philip Jorgensen, and you got to have some clue what you're doing, but no one does, and that's where our money is to be made, I guess. But Chelsea now plus 920 to advance from literally closing right at even money. PSG now minus 1625 because, of course, the spreads are gigantic. But like, man, this would have been a really good second leg, even with Chelsea down by one. But now we're screwed, and the entertainment is not really there. Anyway, for this number, Chelsea are quarter goal favorites, which is ludicrous considering how much they need to win this match by. Total in this one is 3.5, which is very heavily to under. I mean, what from PSG besides Kvaratskhelia coming off the bench and scoring a bunch of goals did we see that was anything like, oh wow, PSG's this great team now? I mean, they struggled with this a Chelsea team at home in the Parc des Princes, and I'm sorry, I will be. I mean, I'm not sure how much more money I could put where my mouth is with betting Monaco in both legs, despite taking a red card really early. They honestly, Monaco probably should be playing here, not PSG. But lucky them. It wasn't, at least the refs didn't screw Monaco. I mean, the red card was a little bit shady, I guess. I mean, second yellow. When you're on the yellow, you can't run into people, basically, and that's what young players do. And unfortunately, there are a lot of them in French Liga. Most of them don't make it to the knockout rounds, but Monaco finally had some chance in their season to do it. And I'm not crying for Monaco at this point, but PSG, we they can't keep getting away with this. As Jesse Pinkman screamed and Walter White, we're gonna find our time to make some money against them. You trust me on that one. We certainly will. As a quarter goal favorite, Chelsea probably have some value at Pick'em. I think I'm more interested because Chelsea can win by 2 goals and still not advance or even force extra time. That's what I'm waiting for. Let me try to get against PSG. I don't think I want anything to do with that total. Um, the other interesting one, best bet from last week, winner on Real Madrid, 3-0 victors at home to Manchester City, and that's including a missed penalty or saved one, which is ridiculous. But Real Madrid now go to Manchester City. They're 1.25 goal underdogs. Choose to split both ways, so no real tell on which one or which way this one's going to move. Total in this one is 3.25, and it's juiced a couple cents more to over. Um, the nightmare scenario is Real Madrid. If you're backing them, yeah, Real Madrid 1.25 goal underdog. They never lose, or when they do lose, it's really close. Well, they can lose by 2 and still celebrate at the final whistle. That's enough to probably keep me away. I lean to the Real Madrid side, but this number is nowhere near big enough for me, especially considering Manchester City closed a half a goal favorite on the road in the Bernabeu in leg one. Total 3.25 is tiny as well. I think we've seen Real Madrid play the Jose Mourinho style, trying to keep it as low scoring as possible as long as they can, and really don't open up until it's 3-0 Manchester City, which could happen, but seems less likely. I think at this point, not a lot for me to do in that one. In terms of the two advanced number, Real Madrid only minus 500, which is saying something with a 3-0 lead. Yes, they're going on the road, but I mean, how impressive have Man City been this year? Pretty much all these teams, like, yeah, they're spending $1 billion more dollars than the rest of their leagues, but there are flaws in all of them at this point. So, um, I think Real Madrid is probably good for Barcelona ticket holders to win La Liga if Real Madrid continue on, though certainly the confidence from a big win against Manchester City will help. Um, I don't know. I think whoever these teams are, I mean, either one are not that impressive to me at this point. And I guess that's where we're going to sit. So for the ultimate best bet selection, I basically go through each episode. I pick something at the end and try to give out my favorite play. One I will nominate from the Tuesday edition of the Bet and Pitch Apple podcast, and the other I will put out for Wednesday, which we'll get to in just a second. I think for my best bet on this, I guess, Tuesday portion of the show, um, don't really have much on Manchester City, Real Madrid. Do like under in Arsenal, Leverkusen. Don't like much in Chelsea, PSG, and Bodo Glimt are way ahead. So there's not a lot for me there. So I'll go under three. My best bet, Arsenal, Leverkusen. Does feel a little bit easy after, unfortunately, after it went under without really much concern in the opener. Though it was a smaller total at 2 3/4. This is three. I mean, at 1-1, they're going extra time. At 2-1, yeah, you got to worry about an empty net goal late. But at the same time, I don't know that I'm really that concerned about it because um, that's just one of those things. It's possible it can happen, but I think we see a low scoring match here. So I'll go under 3 goals. Leverkusen visiting Arsenal. And that brings us to the second portion of the show. We'll go through Wednesday. And we'll start with Barcelona hosting Newcastle, which is bizarre that Barcelona is playing in that early window. Um, don't really know why that would be, but here we are. So let's throw it out there. So Newcastle and Barcelona, a 1-0 victory for Newcastle until the 94th minute when a tired Chom decided to take a leg out, try to kick Danny Olmo. Didn't work out. Surprise, surprise. And now we've got 1-1 second leg, and now Newcastle wouldn't have been favored to advance, but they were in great shape. Now they're in big trouble. Newcastle 1 goal underdogs right now with more juice on Barcelona at home. Surprise, surprise. That happens at the Camp Nou. Total is 3.5, and it's juiced 6 cents more to the under. Um, and more drama was robbed, but at least it was because of a clear penalty, foul in the box. Yeah, late in stoppage time, and probably caused a lot of money to change hands, both from Newcastle money lines. I can only imagine three-way players who bet Newcastle had a great price coming their way, and then it ends up drawing. Um, Pick'em probably wasn't a great result there either. I was looking at it a while and I couldn't really get to a point of playing it, but I thought about it. Had a quarter of a goal, I would have played Newcastle and that would have been a half a goal winner. But even then, sorry for all you that played because you deserve better. And unfortunately, I watched Cham get sent off for Milan and a Milan Juventus match. The only Serie A match I've seen with Juve playing in it so far, as I did see 2 Milan matches. But he's got that in him, unfortunately. He played really well for Newcastle ever since reaching the Premier League. But man, it's been rough, and he's got some really low points, as a lot of young defenders do. Um, but we'll move back to this matchup. So the two advanced number, Barcelona minus 333. A lot of that because they're playing at home, of course. They were uh looks like minus 265 initially. So that's not gigantic, but is certainly something. Newcastle have climbed 50 cents from per dollar from 219 to plus 269. So I mean, there's definitely some belief in Newcastle here, and I think there should be because I mean Barcelona have really not been impressive, and that high line has been so vulnerable. And I don't really think that's changing anytime soon. So the big question then also is how do we trust uh, Newcastle away from home because they've been have drastic and horrible road splits. They're great at home, bad on the road. Couldn't get a win at home. Probably will not be moving through. We see a change about 19% or so. Newcastle 20.5% on Barcelona. So not huge changes based on what we've seen from these others, but certainly reflects a Barca team that probably should get through here. Do they do it in regulation? I'm not sure. Even a 1 goal win is enough for them to get through, but you are pushing. You have to worry about the empty netter late, of course. But that's probably my biggest interest here is Newcastle getting a goal. I think I want to see them climb to plus 1.25 before I play. To the late window, Newcastle we just discussed. Now Liverpool and Galatasaray as we stay in the Premier League, at least with one of the teams. Galatasaray currently 1 3/4 goal underdogs with a little bit more juice on Liverpool. This is my winner from the first legs. Total in this one's 3.5. and it's just a little bit more to over. I'd bet Galatasaray. They got screwed by the refs. Deserved way, way more. I still don't see the offside on a goal that was given away, and then just bad refereeing. Glad that whatever Spanish ref decided to take away a penalty or a goal that was scored with a clear handball. It took him like 5 minutes. And then hilariously enough, there was like 3 minutes added on in stoppage time. So that's another thing where unders can be good plays in UEFA competitions because they don't play the 10 minutes of extra time like they do in the domestic leagues, probably because they have a tighter TV schedule or something like that. But that is something we could use to our advantage. We'll see how to do that on this episode. But Galatasaray currently 1-0 up on the road at Liverpool. They can cover the spread and see this game go to extra time, which I do like as 1 3/4 goal underdogs. I'd love to see them get to two because then they're going home eliminated and you still have a push there, which does give a lot of opportunity late to potentially just see them, Liverpool, run the clock out or something like that. Or, yes, you got to worry about the empty netters when the goalkeeper goes up on a corner kick or something like that, but those don't happen very often. So I'm waiting to see if that happens. That's a great level of insurance, bigger than I made it. I didn't really change my spread from the before watching the first leg to what it is now. But Victor Osimhen is a 1.5 goal underdog, or 1 3/4 goal underdog here is just gigantic, and I love it. And I want to be on that side, and we'll be watching it quite a bit. As Galatasaray have spent a lot of money. Turkish clubs usually do, but they've done really well. Noah Lang was a great signing from on loan from Napoli. Love Mario Lemina, always did when he's at Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he left and see what happened to that club. To advance number here, we have Liverpool minus 240 to the 200 plus 200 on Liverpool. Those are pretty significant drops, I gotta say. Let's see, we got 144% on Galatasaray, so it's been more than cut in half. Liverpool down 179% from minus 670 to minus 240. So there's a lot of nerves here, but Liverpool are at home at Anfield in the second leg. So I don't know who is really backing Galatasaray here. The number will climb, I suspect, but I don't know who's taking it. Though I do like the big underdog there, to say the least. Atalanta then Bayern Munchen. Tough to jump in the way of the Bayern Munchen train, and Atalanta conceded 6 and only scored 1. So they are pretty much eliminated. Don't even have a number up to advance here on this matchup. Atalanta are 1.5 goal underdogs on the road at Bayern. Total in this one is 3.5, juiced pretty heavily to over. There should be goals in this one. That's probably the only way I lean. But as longtime Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/real_G Warner Joe Dollar knows, I don't play favorites and I don't play overs. So especially in a game that who cares about this one, which you could argue impacts defense more than the offense. I just don't know if there's a lot because it doesn't fit my let's see not many goals type of strategy. Last but not least, we'll get to Tottenham Atletico Madrid. We do have two advanced numbers, and I'll make the rant short. But Igor Tudor, amazing that he's been given as many jobs as he has. He basically was the puppet master when Pirlo took over at Juventus. I thought he was decent at Hellas Verona years ago, but they got a big battle with them about, I think, spending money, which they haven't in a long time, and basically sell everything that's not nailed down every year. So that shouldn't have been a surprise. But then somehow how he got the Tottenham job, I still don't understand. And unfortunately, it's not been good for him anywhere he's been. And starting Kinski at goalkeeper is one of the most hilarious moves I've ever seen. He played in the Cup last year, I want to say, against Manchester United, a bad Manchester United team, and was absolutely terrible, dreadful, made some of the biggest mistakes possible. And then the first leg after a bye, obviously, Igor Tudor had not been in control of the team the whole time. Thomas Frank had been there, and I kind of feel bad for him, though he wasn't a good fit for Tottenham. But who is? Because they have high expectations, and their team finishes 15th or worse in the Premier League every season. Well, it's amazing, the mistakes. The slip, I don't really blame Kinski for, but trying to use his left foot to make a pass, and why is he playing? I mean, Vicario has some problems, but I mean, come on. Like, what are we really doing? There's absolutely no belief in that guy whatsoever. And I feel like I'm potentially just beating a dead horse at this point. But you got to find managers that are idiots and bet against them. And Igor Tudor seems to be one of those. As for this number, Tottenham somehow only lost 5-2. So not the biggest deficit, as we just said, Atalanta down 6-1. But now Tottenham are a pick-em at home with a 3-goal deficit. Yeah, they could probably win at home, but who wants to get in the way of that or try to even bet that? Maybe he's a home underdog. I'd have some interest. Told him this was 2 3/4, juiced a little bit more to over. Are we just expecting this game to be just given up? It's like amazing to me at this point, what's going to potentially happen here. But my numbers varied quite a bit. I think I initially made Tottenham a quarter goal underdog, then even smaller than that, and then had to readjust and make it even PSG a favorite. So I've been all over the place. I don't know that there's anything for me on this card. Sorry, PSG is not playing this matchup. That's a miss miss grab. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So big number here, and probably it should be. I don't know. What what can you do here? Well. Oh yeah, that's what because I made multiple PSG numbers. That's why. Okay, sorry, screwed that up, everybody. Um, Good podcasting. I know everyone. Thank you for bearing with me while I fix my spreadsheet. Yeah, so I'm just looking to bet against Tottenham as much as I can and fade or two or as much as I can because it's just Tottenham's a joke, and it's really sad because I mean they have shown great success. Won Europa League last year, which I guess isn't much, but found their way to Champions League. Absolutely no way to deserve it. And the team somehow made it, got a bye in Champions League, which is shocking. But that's what happens when you're a bad team and you somehow make it to a competition you don't deserve. And, they made it this far, so good for them. But that's it. And now it's time to get to the ultimate best reports of the show because I am going to do a What I Bet episode for pregame.com as well. Make sure you check that out. But for everything on this podcast, Betting the Pitch Apple Podcast and on Spotify, hit subscribe, leave a 5-star review, teach for the search rankings. And actually, we've had way more YouTube subscribers, hits, all those sort of things out there. Are doing great numbers on the Big East Bend College Basketball and the Need for Seeds College Basketball podcast, going through each of the regions in college basketball. If you're a soccer only person, sorry, bear with me, but a lot of people in America are getting ready to win some bracket pools, and I'm certainly here to help. So go check that out. We just put out the South region. East is out from Sunday night, and we're doing 2 more episodes, plus episodes every night after the action wraps up, even with Big East Ben, live correspondent from Vegas. So look forward to that. He's flying out Wednesday night, and we'll do more of that going down the stretch. But for the ultimate best bet on this show, took one of my favorites from Tuesday and Wednesday in Champions League, smash them together and choose one as my best bet. From Tuesday, I like Leverkusen under 3 goals. On Wednesday, I like Galatasaray 1 3/4 goal underdogs. But at this point, I'm waiting to see that number climbs to 2. So I'll play under 3 goals. Leverkusen visiting Arsenal, the ultimate best bet in this episode. Let's try to go 2-0 in this round after Real Madrid won for us last time. We'll see if we make that happen. We'll see you in the next episode.